If you do that first, then you can carry on with this video. Very popular place. Hi guys, thanks for dropping in, and hello if it's your first time. I'm Rick. Welcome to my channel. Basically, this little clip is me having a good run out on the bike with a mate of mine, and I haven't got a proper GoPro mic for the helmet yet, so it's very hard for me to speak to you through the helmet and record at the same time. I've got the correct parts now delivered, so hopefully I'll get some more footage out and about, but the weather's not been too great. But to recap on the ride that follows this kind of narrative, basically just to sum up the ride and my opinion of the new 2021 KTM Super Adventure S. Now I am a heavy sports bike rider from past. 675 Daytona 600 R1. I like sports bikes, and I like putting, you know, sports performance exhausts, power commander, basically anything to maximize its potential. I'll have a go at, because that's my hobby. I've also had ADV's dual sport bikes as well. My last one was one of the last Tiger 800s they made. I think it was the 19 plate before they went on to the 900 series, and before that another Tiger 800, both of them the off-road variant with a 21-inch front wheel. Now I have to say, being a short rider, it was an interesting move to go to a dual sport, particularly the off-road versions, which are very tall. This machine is still a little bit tall, but it's doable. It's the best one so far I've found, particularly with this engine capacity. Performance wise, there's nothing that touches this in this category. Absolute missile. So if you like high performance machines, but you just want that little bit more comfort, but don't want to be riding around on what's deemed as an old man's bike, this is the perfect machine. I mean, you read all and listen to all the reviews online, they're singing nothing but praises about this bike because of a very good reason. It is what it is. It's a very well designed package for the money. I mean, base price £14,999, call it 15 grand. You know, if you're looking at this kind of bike, you're also looking at potential, obviously the GS. If you want to throw a bit more money at it, maybe the Multistrada, but that's just like price wise. But for an all-round package for the money, you cannot beat this bike. I mean, I have not had a thrill on a bike since my Big Bang R1 for a few years ago, and I'm surprised the bike that I can sit upright on, feel comfortable, go off-road on, go pick up the shopping, and still give me a thrill that I get from the R1. I mean, I could take this on a track without any hesitation, as it is, straight from the dealers. You know, you don't need to start sticking on new tyres, you know, what have you. You can just set up the suspension. You know, the tyres are already, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, the dual sport tyres, but you can stick your thumb, they're so soft. I said to my mate, it's almost like riding a Super Corsa. But yeah, phenomenal. The radar, cruise control, it's no gimmick. The cruise control, the adaptive cruise control is, I mean, I was in two minds about whether it was worth it or not. I mean, you know, how big a deal is it just to turn the cruise control on, turn it off when you're in traffic, or slow it down, speed it up with your fingers? It worked on the Tiger. I had a go on this. You set the cruise control and it's so lazy. I mean, yeah, you got to keep your wits about you, but it follows the traffic perfectly. Slows down on its own, speeds up on its own, and if you want to overtake and the car in front is actually going slower than you and there's an empty lane, as soon as you put the indicator on, the bike will accelerate up to the set cruising speed on its own. I mean, that's just like spaceship stuff. I'm old school, but to me that was, I can see that's very useful, you know, on a long haul journey anyway. I mean, it's not a gimmick, it is very practical and useful. I'm not going to go into all the intricacies about the cruise control. You know, you can set the distances, whatever you deem comfortable, in terms of how far you are from the car in front, you know, how quickly you want to be able to accelerate up to cruising speed or decelerate. There's all those settings. There's so much stuff you can adjust in this system. It is ridiculous. Suspension settings, I mean, I ride around a lot on sports mode because it really firms up the suspension. Well, suspension settings on sports, throttle response sports. There's a lot to play around on, but you can literally take it from the dealers. As long as everything's set up as street and suspension in auto, it will just adapt to how you ride. You don't need to use all the functions to feel like you're getting the best. I mean, you will get the best out of it once you start playing around with all the functions, but as it is out the box, it is such it's just a machine. It just feels perfect as soon as you drive off. Well, it did for me anyway. For the average Joe Blogs, it will be fine. Obviously for you a bit more eager beavers on the road, you'll have a tweak of this and a tweak of that. Well, it's all there for you to tweak. Fantastic. I've not been able to take it off road yet. I am going to get some, I'm thinking about getting spoked alloys, but in my opinion they're pretend tubeless spoked rims. They're not like the Beamer rims or the Triumph rims where you've got the spokes on the outside of the rim. I mean, they are literally normal spoked rims with a rubber bead and glue in the middle, so it's potentially you can still get a high speed or a high speed deflation if any of that's compromised. So I'm not sure on that, but I'm happy enough to stick some off-road tyres on these alloy rims. I won't be doing anything too heavy on this because I still haven't got the bash plate or the engine bars. Like everybody else, I'm waiting for a long time. Yeah, the cruise control, the sports set, the rider modes, all the tech that's on the screen. I mean, this little, I mean, that is brilliant. I stop at service stations a lot and go through toll roads. That saves you faffing around in your pocket, taking your gloves off. Just reach for your debit card, pay for the toll. There it is, bang, job done, carry on. Little things like that. Now, bit of a pain in the backside I'm unhappy about. I mean, not unhappy is a bit of a strong word, but you don't get rad guards as standard like the Super Adventure R. They get standard rad guards. I mean, already I've got a few people subscribed that basically have said they've destroyed a rad within weeks, and there's nothing available on the market, aftermarket wise, and KTM don't advertise the Super Adventure R rad guards, but they don't give a reason why you can't put them on the Super Adventure S. Anyway, you've seen the other vid, maybe not. I've got the Super Adventure R rad guards on, fit perfectly. It's the same rad, it's the same bike, 32 quid a pair, job done. I'm happy, and I've not had any adverse effects yet. Secondly, my other moan is, as you've probably seen, the stock foot pegs. and that doesn't mean good. That means stock foot pegs are as big as my thumb, and I haven't got a big thumb. You can check out the video on that one as well. So you've got to pay for rad guards, you've got to pay extra for the normal sized foot pegs, but you don't. The rally foot pegs are massive, they are perfect. So I've upgraded those as well. So just a couple of things I make sure I'd get as soon as I got the bike. Is foot pegs, rad guards, and probably the frame protectors. But apart from that, I'm absolutely blown away by this machine. It accelerates. Yeah, it's a joke. If it wasn't for the rider aids, this thing would be living on its back wheel. But at the same time, you can ride it round as gently as a moped if you want it. It's all there if you want it. So for the everyday guy, yeah, it'll tick that box. Go shopping, go for a little cruise with your missus on the back, get the panniers and top box on, off for a trip easily, global trip easily. 23 litre tank. It's not bad on fuel. It's not fantastic, it's not bad. I mean, I can probably get about 200 miles because I frequent from Stoke to London. It's about 180 miles door to door. I can do it on one tank, you know, most of the time. It depends heavily on how heavy you are on the gas. This thing is definitely, how can I say, if you drive comfortably and steadily, you'll get decent mileage, but the minute you start hammering it, this thing will drink. So it is good on fuel, but it can be very, very heavy on fuel. So the choice is yours. It's down to you. It is on all bikes, but this one particular, with the power it's got, it's 1.3, 158 horsepower, 138 Newton meter engine. This thing will launch like a missile, and you'll pay for that in fuel. But drive carefully and you'll get some decent mileage out of it. The adaptive brake light, if you've got the tech pack, is great. I've been trying to get it to work but never managed, but my mate on this ride out, as you might see next, followed me, and I was comfortably hitting some speed, and then I slammed on the anchors just to see if the adaptive brake light would come on, and he said, yeah, you can see it a mile off and you can see it flicker. So I know my adaptive brake light actually works, because it's one of those things you'll never know because you're riding the bike. So I don't need to take that back to get it fixed under warranty. It works. It works very well. The quick shifter, again, if you've got the tech pack or you pay for the optional extra, the quick shifter is like butter. I mean, it's smooth as butter. Andy, my mate, had a go on it, and also another mate had a go on it who rides race bikes, and he couldn't get over how smooth. I mean, he was pinning it second, third, fourth, and it was so seamless. To say it's just a KTM stock quick shifter, it's phenomenal. And the down blipper as well. I mean, faultless, absolutely faultless. You've got to have that really if you get this bike. If you don't want the tech pack, fine, but you've got to pay for the optional extra of the quick shifter. Otherwise, it's part of the bike. You've got to have it. The quick shifter is a must. Hill hold control, yeah, you get that with the tech pack. It's useful. You know, I've done without hill hold before. It's fine. It's useful in cars, but yeah, it just makes the ride a little bit easier. You know, you just take your mind off it and a little bit more. Obviously, you still got to be aware, but yeah, no rolling back. Hill start, bang on, perfectly fine. Not tried the rally modes or the pro modes, because you get pro suspension with the tech pack and all that. But I've not really had the time. I've got a family life, I've got a job, and I got stuff to do around the house and relatives to obviously look after as well. Well, not obviously, but we've all got things going on in life. So, you know, it's difficult to take time out to make these videos, but you know, you've got to make time for yourself sometimes. But yeah, indicators. That there takes some getting used to, the indicator switch. Some will moan, some will say it's great. It is a knack. Once you get used to it, it's faultless. It's not necessarily a direct push in, but it's also, from what people have said, you push down on it, and it's not necessarily a direct push down. It's almost like an inny downy. Yeah, work that one out for yourself. But when you're riding and you've been using it for a while, it works seamlessly. Is it the best design? Definitely not. Does it work? Yes. That's enough on that subject for the indicator. Headlights, I've got a video on that one. You can check that one out. But in short, there's no headlights on and off. It's all down to the computer. It's all down to the sensors. You cannot turn the headlights on. You've got daytime running lights during the day. When it gets dark, the daytime running lights turn to, they call it position lights, which is a dim version of the daytime running lights. And then your headlights come on. So if you want to ride during the day with your headlights, the only way to do it is make sure you're stopped, go through the settings and turn off the daytime running lights. That's the only way to get your headlights on. For me, that's a pain in the backside. I think as a rider, I should be able to choose when I want my headlights on and off, or on or off. And if I want them to be automatic, I can then be able to switch them to be automatic, just like I do in my own car. I can either turn them on manually or just leave everything to automatic. So it's a pain in the arse when you're going through tree-lined roads following a car, or that awkward time of the day between light and darkness, when your headlights come on, then they come back off, and your daytime running lights, and the car in front thinks you're flashing them. So, not great. It's what I would say a good overall package, and it's probably the best bike I've had in all my biking days, to be honest. I've not taken it off-road. I've taken the Tiger off some gnarly off-road. I mean, TKC80 knobby tyres are a must for the stuff that I've done. I mean, single track is an understatement. I mean, the tracks I've taken my Tiger 800 down in, you take proper motocross bikes down, and even then you're picking them up for, I've actually picked up my Tiger 800 more times than I can count down some of these trails, because they're just so gnarly. I'm not sure this is going to take, I'm not sure I'll ever take this down some of those roads, because I've got more ground clearance on the Tiger 800 XC than this one, and I used to bottom out big time on some of the ruts, and I've gone through a couple of bash plates and replaced God knows how many parts. This, I don't really want to do that kind of stuff to it just yet, and also there's that much tech on it. I dare to think how much it would cost to repair or replace some of this electronic suspension, which is probably why you want the SAR instead of the SAS if you're going to do that kind of stuff, or damaging the Bosch radar at the front, which you don't get on the SAR as well. There's a lot of expensive stuff to go wrong on this, and that's something to bear in mind. Now, the toolkit, I've got to say, it's one of the best toolkits I've ever seen in a bike. The toolkit comes with everything you possibly, most things you possibly need to work on the bike. I've only been short of certain size Torx socket bits that aren't included, that I needed to get the panels off when I did the sat-nav connection video, but you can live with it, you can live without them. You probably already got him knocking around in your garage anyway, but for an overall toolkit, it's pretty conclusive what they fitted in that little pack. So yeah, I would say big thumbs up for this bike. It's going to take some serious mileage from me at some point when COVID's kind of like well and truly been, well, COVID, not COVID, the rules are completely relaxed and we're back to normal. We're going to live with COVID forever. That's my opinion. Yeah, enough on that subject. Heated grips. If you go for the heated grip option, they are amazing. I mean, I've had heated grips on all my bikes, and the OEM grips on the Triumph I thought were mediocre. I've always ended up buying heated gloves to go on top of my heated grips, because I ride in all year round. I mean, the ice forms inside the visor as well as outside. I've ridden in snow. it's just how it is. If you get caught out, you get caught out. But these are so hot on their hottest setting. I've not really had a chance to ride them in winter just yet, because obviously the bike's only just come out in April. But well, I picked mine up in April, and I found them on medium, and even that's too hot. So I'd be interested to see how well they retain the heat during the autumn winter months. But so far it's looking good. It really is looking good for the heated grips. And so heated grips, adaptive cruise control, sports mode, active semi-active suspension, ride height for a short guy, bang on. I'm waiting for my heated seat, can't comment on that yet. What can I say? I mean, it's just a fantastic bike. If you're thinking about getting one of these, you can't go wrong. Yeah. I absolutely love it. I mean, KTM, I always thought these bikes were the ugliest MFs bikes known to man. They still are the Headlight design to some people, but I've absolutely fallen in love with it. And if the designs kind of are at this level every time they release a bike, I find it hard to move away from KTM after getting this bike. It's just an absolute tool. It's an absolute beast. Yeah. Anyway, get yourself down to KTM. I don't get paid commission, so I'm not going to blow sunshine up KTM's backside for more than 20 minutes, which is what I've reached now. I think you've got the idea that I love the bike. Can't go wrong. My mates love the bike. They've all had a go on it. It's just, yeah. That's all I'll say. Before I start waffling on. Hope you enjoyed the clip. Sorry it's not as professional as some of the others. I'm just Joe Blogs, singing praises about this. I do a high mileage, sports bike rider in the past, heavy commuter. It's a can-do-all bike, from track day to shopping. What more can you ask for?
Right guys, I haven't got a helmet intercom, but I'm out with my mate Andy today for a quick blast out on the bike. If I'm shouting, it's because I'm not sure you can hear me. I'm still waiting for a proper medium on. Anyway, about time I got out the garage and on the road, and well, we'll just have a see how this turns out. Guys, well, I'm out with my mate Andy. Like I said, we're out over in near Lady Bower Reservoir in the Peak District, and basically because of one of the comments from the guys that said, oh, you spend too much time in the workshop, can we have some footage when you're out? So I'm going to put some footage together later. It's not great, but I haven't got the right mic for the helmet, so you won't be able to hear me, so it's pointless speaking to you from the camera. I've got to get the proper mic yet, but I'll put something together. I hope you like it. Yeah, the bike handles fantastic. I've tried various modes. For the camera, I'll leave it on comfort because it absorbs the shocks a bit better and it helps the footage. Andy's had a go on the bike and he absolutely loves it. He's got a Tiger 800. I had one before, and he couldn't get over how narrow the tank is. It actually is marginally different to the Tiger 800. So you sit on one of them and then you sit on a GS 1200 and you'll notice the difference. You sit on a Tiger 800, you sit on one of these 1290s, which has got 1301cc capacity. There's no difference. The balance, it's fantastic, and the pull, the torque is phenomenal. It's really enjoyable. It's not intrusive. You know, the pull is not brutal as you'd expect. It's a nice, strong, determined pull, that engine. I've got it in sport mode, and it's just comfortable. And I've left the suspension in auto, so it knows when I'm riding rather aggressively, so it'll automatically update the suspension settings as and when I start to ride slowly, it'll soften up, which is a fantastic setting. Anyway, I've got to get on with me, mate. It's a very popular place. Oh mate, this is a pretty nice little find. Fucking hell, this is a bit of wet mud. Excuse my language. Oh mate, this is absolutely amazing. These tyres are like super cautious, they're not the most spicy off-road. He just flew over it. Very popular place.